Hello! We're Stagedoor siblings.
About a year ago, we saw one of the most confusing and impactful musicals of our lifetime.
Bat Out of Hell, the musical.
We looked up the plot during intermission and we were still confused by it.
So it's kind of like if Rocky Horror and Spring Awakening had a child, and then that child had a child with Romeo and Juliet and Peter Pan, and then that child kind of traveled to the future and is now living the apocalypse. Plus, Meatloaf is there.
It is strange, confusing, and I loved every second of it.
I just took out my phone and I started recording, like, us trying to piece together what we just saw.
A bunch of people liked it, so...
Yeah, a couple of people replied. They were like, if you make this a series, we will watch it. And that's kind of how Stagedoor Siblings came to be.
It was just an accident because we saw a strange show a year ago.
So thanks, Bat Out of Hell, for confusing the heck out of us.
Yeah!
And it was so impactful that we're still talking about it a year later, and we still can't figure it out. We're still referencing it.
And now we're here. This is what we do now.
So we hope you enjoy us from a year ago being utterly perplexed by Bat Out of Hell. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
So Micah,
Yes.
what did you think of Bat Out of Hell?
Here's my full review. Too much sex for a show that is about meatloaf. Is it about?
Okay,
it's
no,
not even
it's not about the
meatloaf.
food. No, the artist, like the rock and roll artist Meatloaf. There were a lot of like really hardcore fans of his original
you can
music.
tell because they were singing in the audience.
Oh yeah.
The first act was so difficult to follow.
Yo, you know what I said? I said it was like a high schooler's creative writing project, but like really professionally done. Like the singing was amazing. The lights and the set and the costumes, really well done. Story-wise, it felt like fan fiction.
I feel like the way this was written was the writer took like 20 cups of NyQuil, chugged it all, passed out, and this is what he wrote while half asleep.
You have a bunch of these like iconic songs, and then he tried to write a story around them, but it wasn't.
Why
no,
write,
it wasn't.
No. Why write a story that is post-apocalyptic Peter Pan?
And it wasn't even that.
It was.
No.
There were mild hints at it with like the small best friend being named Tink, and Tink died.
Tink died. Oh yeah, and then
murdered Tink.
and then the protagonist dies at the end of the first act. Oh, and then they resurrect him.
They resurrect him with the blood of his lover.
He was literally in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
But then. Oh my God. Okay, so if he can survive a motorcycle accident by his girlfriend/lover donating blood, then how can Tink die from a single gun?
No, it wasn't even a gun. It was a stab wound.
No,
Wasn't it?
he had a gun.
No, where did he get the gun from?
No, the dad shot him.
He did?
Yeah. Do you see how confusing it was?
I don't remember there being a sound effect. Was there?
Yes.
Was there supposed to be?
Maybe the sound guy missed his cue. I don't know. Yeah. So okay, one of the points that like I thought it was clever, but like they didn't really elaborate on it. So the father was a dictator of this post-apocalyptic city. We didn't see him do any dictating, just like the characters told us that he was a bad person, but we didn't see him doing anything worth protesting against, except for like being mean to his family and what?
And freezing everybody.
Yeah. Wait,
he
that
didn't
wasn't
freeze
his fault,
That
right?
was him.
That was him?
I'm so confused.
What?
He froze everybody at age 18.
Why?
No, he did not.
No,
No.
he didn't.
Him.
It was an earthquake.
It was an earthquake and
Chemical.
some poison and chemicals and stuff.
But was it his fault?
No,
He
it was.
didn't
It
do
wasn't.
that.
I don't know.
That's what
okay.
Okay.
The reason.
I just watched this man have familial struggles. Just like a whole soap opera, but I didn't see him like being a political dictator.
No. The thing is, he's not that bad of a dictator, I guess. But the reason that the people that are frozen at the age of 18, Beetlejuice, hi.
Ah, oh my God, I love you.
I love this musical so much.
Okay, anyway.
All right, so the reason that the people that are frozen at the age of 18 are frozen at the age of 18 was because there was an earthquake and some chemicals spilled, and there was like nuclear war or something like that, and they all became mutated, but like not in the way that you're thinking where it's cool. They're just frozen at the age of 18, which is oddly specific. And then there's one kid that wasn't frozen properly and is at like age 13 or something like that.
That was Tink.
That was Tink, and they just murdered. And Tink has like a crush on the Peter Pan Strat. What's his name? Strat. The old. I can only think of that squirrel from the Ice Age trilogy the whole time. They said his name. They were like Strat. I was like squirrel.
And there were three different love stories that I didn't particularly care for.
There was a.
They were very, very dysfunctional.
Yeah. So the mom and the dad. The dictator has a wife.
Like, decide if you love each other or not.
She's constantly drinking, and she really wants her daughter to go out and see the world, and she's cool.
They're
the
like
cool mom.
contradicting each other. Like, the dads are like, you are never allowed outside. The mom's like, go, run away, be free, wear this leather jacket.
Live the life I used to live, or never wish I lived, or what. They really tried to humanize the dictator side of this guy to the point.
Too much.
To the point where you didn't feel like he was a dictator. He was just sort of like a bad family man.
Yeah, it was really hard to root for any of the characters.
And then very, very suddenly there was a smash cut to 6 months later.
And people laughed.
People started laughing. It was such an awkward transition that it was just sort of like 6 months later, and we're like,
okay, all right.
But then
Storytelling.
Then the mom is like, I wandered the earth. I saw a beach. I went to this beach and there was sun. I think it was the sun. And
What is it like
waves
to be young again?
and sand. And I looked into myself and I thought, I'm young and I'm not. And it was angsty, and she went back to the house only to immediately leave again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of it felt like spoken word poetry that you would hear, like someone who's brand new to spoken word poetry and like slam and whatever
poetry.
Yeah, they have a long way to go, but I appreciate the effort. The passion is there. Absolutely. Here's the deal with jukebox musicals. Sometimes, like, when songs are written, they're not necessarily, like, they don't tell a story. And that's the thing with musicals. Like, the songs are used to propel the story along. But when you write a musical around songs that were already written, then it feels like it's a little ingenuine.
Okay, no. It works. It works for like
it worked for Mamma Mia, and it worked for
American Idiot.
Okay.
Beautiful is another one where they took the songs and made it into a story.
Well, yeah,
Okay, but that was a biography.
That was a biography.
Same with Jersey Boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it made sense, like,
Sorry.
on the
Jukebox
timeline.
musicals
Yeah.
can work. It's just that this one was such an odd concept
Yeah.
that it was like
avant-garde. That's it. The emotions are there, and they're really good at conveying those emotions.
The
But,
actors
like,
were great for what they were given. If they had a much better material, I'm sure it would have been a fantastic show.
Crawl.
I will do